Hello and welcome to the Bricecast. I am, of course, Brice, bringing you through everything we'll be talking about over the next hour and a bit. But more importantly, joining me here this time, back-to-back world champion, and he also has another world championship. It's Clayster. Clay, how are you?
What's up, man? I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm good, thank you. I'm glad to have you on. Like I said before, it's fantastic that you've given me your time to talk through what an incredible career you have and any tangents we end up going on. But yeah, like this is an interesting one because I remember speaking to you, like people don't know, obviously I spoke to you briefly before we did this, and I said, look, I like to do careers of players and walk through the history and stuff, and yours is long and ridiculous. Like it is an incredible career so far. I
Yeah,
mean,
man, it's been a long one, I would say. A pretty long one so far.
yeah, I mean, obviously I'm going to skip over some parts because otherwise, like I said, it'll take 5 hours if I don't. So I don't think I need to cover anything COD 4, but your early days of getting into COD competitive, what kind of switched you onto this track?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've always been a relatively competitive video game player. I grew up with two older brothers and a dad who all played, and they all had friends who played, and I was like the youngest of the bunch, and so I was always trying to like compensate, and I could never play like athletic stuff with them because they were like 4 to 8 years older than me. So like, I can't go out in the backyard and play football with them or something. So it was always we were naturally competing in video games, and so I was just always competitive. Kind of like would play a lot of Halo competitively and actually like was trying to go to events in Halo 2 for like competitive stuff when I was like 12, 13. But my like parents wouldn't let me. And so was a like, big Halo fanboy. And then COD 4 came out, loved COD 4, got to max prestige in that in like a month. And then was looking for something like more to do because it's like once you can't rank up your level anymore, what are you going to do? So found game battles through that way. Started playing with real life friends, realized I was like way better than them. And, it's funny that me and my like real life friends, I'm still friends with them to this day. And they're like, dude, it's crazy. Like back then, we were like playing on a GB team together, like trying to get like more wins than losses. And now it's like, 3-time world champs. So, it just started off like that, man. And really was just competing early days of COD 4 and game battles. In the last half of 2008, I started playing in like the PCLs, the Pro Circuit Ladder, which was online league, and that's all there was for COD. Got like top 16 in the first one I played in, got like top 8 in the second one I played in, and that's really where my competitive career took off, was playing in those first two PCLs online.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, slightly similar to how I ended up getting into Call of Duty competitive because I used to be all about that Halo life, and it was addicting, man. Back in those days, you saw MLG was a big one for me. I used to love watching MLG, and then yeah, I kind of started on COD 4 as well. But yeah, you can see here you competed in a few bits. There's some history here, but I think. And like I said, I want to jump forward now because there is so much to cover in your career. It's actually insane. Um,
Skip like 3 games
Oh,
here.
I
And
am. I am going to skip like 3 games and just go straight into like I think one of the big ones like the frag cut back in the day was obviously like a massive thing just in Black Ops 2, and people
Mhm.
dismiss it now. But like back then, the frag cut was huge for Call of Duty esports. Like so many people wanted to play it.
Yeah, so many people started watching and like Ghost or AW or even Black Ops 3. And people don't understand the importance of these online tournaments that we had back then. There wasn't a lot of like regular tournaments to play. There wasn't any regular tournaments to play in really. Frag Cup was like the go-to. It was like 5 grand tournament, which was huge back then. I remember like the tournaments we'd play in, you would win like if you won an online tournament, the biggest one you might win like 750 each,
Yeah.
and so like Frag Cup was a big deal. You win like $1,000 each or something, and like dude, people tried so hard in those Frag Cups. Those Frag Cups were like some of the sweatiest tournaments I've ever played in. Like people wanted to win those more than anything. So like. There's so much history from like COD 4 to Black Ops 2 that's kind of lost. And at least Black Ops 1 and MW3 were kind of documented a little bit.
Yeah.
But COD 4, World at War, MW2, like none of that really has like the history there for it. And it's pretty funny because people look back nowadays and they're like, oh, Crim only has 31, not 32, because he's counting the Frag Cup tournament. And it's like, well, those
Back then,
Frag
yeah.
Cups were harder to win than a tournament in Modern Warfare was. Like, that's for sure.
Now, I've always said like recency bias is such a problem in Call of Duty. I think. Like I remember back then, like I know even at big lands back then, I know for a fact that players were going dumb hard. It's not like everybody was relaxed or anything. Like competition is still there because we've still got people winning now. So I've got to kind of focus in here on the very first one. Call of Duty Championship 2013. Now, a lot of people don't know in this that you qualified for this with a pretty good team at the time, right? And then weren't allowed to play with them. And very swiftly, this is probably one of the reasons you like so much of the European community loves you, Clay, is that you took 3 Europeans to come out with you.
Yeah, that was a rough one. Honestly, I love all those dudes to death. Like it was so the whole story behind it is I was looking for a team after the first event of Black Ops 2. I teamed with Rambo, Parasite, and Intake. And a lot of people probably don't know who Intake is, but he was kind of like an objective player back in the day. Jake, good guy. Anyways, that team broke up, and I was looking for a team to play MLG Dallas with because that was like the qualifier for Black Ops 2 champs. And you could qualify through 8 teams through league play, I think, or like 16 teams had to like qualify through league play in the game, and then the other 8 were determined. I don't know. It was like 8 were determined by the top 8 at
It
the
wasn't
event.
good. It wasn't
Yeah,
a great system, but
and I was looking for a team, couldn't find one. Everybody's kind of like I'd taken a break from COD, so people were like, "He's washed up. He's no good anymore." And I was looking for a team, and
sorry.
actually,
So ironic that the people are saying that back then, right? But
yeah.
carry on, sorry.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. In 2013, that was the conception was that I was washed up and not good anymore. So it is definitely funny to now. But so actually, Embo's, me and him had become friends just through gaming. He ended up being like, "Hey, there's these kids that are really good. I was supposed to play with them, but I got another offer. You should go play with them." And it turned out to be Spacely, Slacked, and Huddle. And a lot of people might not know who Huddle is, but Spacely and Slacked is still, name brand names in Call of Duty now. Spacely and Challengers, Slacked in the Pro League last year. And really they were all like 15, 16, and 16 years old, and I was 21 at the time. And so I was just like, all right, there's some kids. They were actually really annoying to play with. We would be scrimming. I'd mute them all the time, but we ended up working out well together and went to the event and got second. But they weren't 18, so they couldn't play at BO2 champs. So I was like, all right, I got to make a crazy decision now. Like,
yeah.
And this was honestly one of the hardest decisions I had ever made. Because of my unique situation, I needed 3 teammates, but all the other teams who qualify with someone under 18 only needed like 1. Like 3 of them were over 18. They just need to replace 1. So like I was trying to make a team of like me, John, Dito, and somebody else, but I had a longer deadline to make my team than the other teams that needed 1.
Yeah.
So all these other teams like Fear was just like, oh, we're picking this guy up. I think Dito went and played for somebody called like Donut Shop or something. So then I was left trying to pick up a team who didn't qualify, and that became a lot harder. And I remember I was like an option between Silly, Shills, and Enzo, who honestly was actually probably a good like the best decision I could have made. And then another one was like Gucci, Chino, and someone else. It was like Hex P. It was the name of their team. And then the other one was Gunshi, Tommy, and Shane. And it was such a hard decision. And I went with the Europeans because they were the only team that had experience at champs, and they had like played at COD XP, which was the $1 million tournament for MW3. And so I went with them because it was like they've been on the stage, they've all gotten top 8, they're not going to get nervous at champs. And that's what I was looking for. I was like worried about people getting nervous because this was still like super in the infancy of Call of Duty competitive. So it's like I need some competitors, and so that's why I went with them. We got 0 practice in together until we played at the tournament together.
Yeah.
And it just was not, it didn't work out well. That chance actually, I wish that chance could just get like removed because like my average is so good if you just remove that top 24. I have like a 2.28 placing at champs without that thing. So I don't know. It was a rough one, but I feel like every competitor, every good top player in Call of Duty has screwed up at champs once. Like there's not a player that really has like successfully placed well in every champs across like 5+ of them. And so it's like, hey, at least I got mine out of the way early. So then the next 7 were, I at least made it to top 8.
It's a shame because I remember the hype back then about that team being formed and stuff, and obviously European bias coming in. That team should have done better than top 24 at champs, but it's one of those ones that never happened. Fortunately, after that defeat, things started going much better, and it's the beginning of the complexity era of Call of Duty, which is definitely one of my favorite eras of all time. It's such an interesting way that it was back then with how dominating the team was. But how did that team come about, and what was different about them?
Yeah, so I'd known Aches and Crim for a long time, and that's something that not even a lot of people nowadays know. It's just like so much stuff gets lost to the ether, like the history just goes. But I actually in 2010 teamed with Aches, and in late 2008 teamed with Crim, and so like
Wow.
COD 4 with Crim and MW2 with Aches, and like me and Aches actually played competitively together in MW2. It was a team of me, him, Clayster, and some guy named Sin, and we got second in both the Xbox and PlayStation PCL 2 of 2010. So it was Modern Warfare 2, the second PCL of the year, and it was both the Xbox and PlayStation version. We got second together. So I'd known like Aches from competitively for a long time. I'd known Crim. We were the #1 GB team for a long time. It was actually a team called Crown Victorious, which is what we made the Empire hashtag. So it's kind of like a cool like throwback. And so they had been like talking to me for a while, and then I think we ended up beating them at I think maybe Dallas we beat them like the
Yeah.
first event. And then I kind of played pretty well at champs, and they realized that I was really good with the foul. And so then they're like, "Hey, do you want to come like just play with us?" And then the foul got banned like 3 weeks later, and they were like,
Yeah.
like, should we keep him?" And so then I was ended up being pretty good with the M8. And really they just like as soon as champs was over, Crim hit me up. I went up to their hotel room. It was Crim, Aches, Teep, and Mr. X, and they're like, "Hey, we want you on the team." And I'm like, "All right, cool. Let's do
I've just
it."
done really badly. I am in.
Yeah, let me think about it. Okay, yeah, I'm down because like the thing was with Unite and Spacey Huddle and Slack, I had told him like when I joined the team, I was like, if I get an offer to join, Cole or somebody good, I'm gonna go take that offer. And they're like, "That's fine, but until you take that offer, you're gonna play with us." So yeah, it was mainly just like that's how it worked out. It was something where we were kind of calling back our past competitiveness. And this was only 2013. So it was only a few years later. Like now it's like, oh, 2010 was a decade ago. But at the time, it was only like 3 years, still pretty fresh. So we just all were friends through that and ended up being a pretty good team.
I mean, a pretty good team
Yeah.
is is understating it. First three events wins. A couple of 5K series in between. Gfinity 2 win. MLG Full Invitational win. ESWC 13 win. Basically, the rest of Black Ops 2 was a lock for complexity. Why? Like how? I mean, I do have a slight inkling to this, Clay, because I have seen it at things like ESWC, the final event of the year in the calendar back then. I remember watching like Mr. X and Teep still breaking down breaks and stuff when they only probably had like two more matches to play in the entire event. Was it just more that the team was able to kind of more dial in and break down gameplay faster than anyone else?
I think what made us special was a combination of a bunch of things. I think number one, we were the first team that had the talent to like. It was your first quote unquote super team, and in Impact tried to do that with their teams, and some of the older like BO1 MW3 teams try to do that, but there was always kind of that weak link. And our weak link was Teep, but he could have been a main slayer on any other team. And so we really were the first team to do that, like really heavy skill based team. And like screw the tactics. Like we all know how to play. We all taught each other how to play. Like we don't need that. And we don't need a strat caller or like somebody. We have a coach. We have Mr. X. Like he can do all that while we just slay. And I think you combine that with the determination and the motivation and like the kind of passion that we had to win. Like we all needed to win to like for each of us it was a different thing. Like for me, I needed to pay my rent and like pay my
Yeah.
bills and stuff. And then like for Crim, he needed to prove to his parents that this was a valid career choice. And TP had to prove to his parents that like this is better to do than college. Like everyone had something to prove. And we had a motto. It was first ones in the building, last ones to leave. So like we were the first ones there every day when the doors opened up, and we were the last ones to leave at the end of the day when we'd won the tournament. And that was just kind of our motto every tournament was first ones there, last ones to leave. and we stuck by that. We were getting up on time before like gamers were getting up on time. We were getting up at 7 a.m. to be there at 8:30 and be like fed, ready to go, have everything we need, like warming up. And then we're sitting down on main stage 3 hours later, and Killa comes running in the door with his controller and a hair dryer bag. Like that's how it was, and we just wanted it more than anyone else. And then we were willing to put forth the time. We had the best team comp, we had the best skill, we had the best comms, and we also had the best tactics. I mean, there's still some stuff we did in Black Ops 2 that people still don't talk about. Like Crim and them
I was
played
going
a
to
black.
ask
Go
this.
ahead.
Sorry
Go
to
ahead.
interrupt you there. So there is a question about that I wanted to ask, because Complexity were also known for playing mind games back in the day with other teams. But I remember there being something, and I wanted to ask you this because you'll have to correct me. Something about taking extreme conditioning over lightweight off the break allowed you to get to the hard point at the same time as the lightweight players, but allowed you to take something else in that lightweight slot. And it was something that no other team did. It was little things like that I remember hearing about Complexity.
Yeah, I mean that's really what makes me and Krim so good together. And that's what makes Aches think the same way, what Teep thinks the same way, Mr. X. Like, we all devised this take every advantage strategy that we could take. Like, every little edge, if it's a 0.1% plus for us, we're gonna take it. Like, if we can do something more efficiently and get it there a half a second, a tenth of a second faster, then it's gonna, every little bit adds up. And that's just stuff we did back then, where there was some extreme conditioning where like you ran faster down like stairs with extreme than you did lightweight. So if you spawned on like the laundry side of raid, you'd pop on extreme to get down those stairs a little faster, and then you'd get to the hill like a quarter of a second faster. So it was like weird stuff like that. We would three of us would switch between stuns, EMPs, and nades.
Yeah.
And we had like a constant cycle every two lives. We would all switch, and we would call it like, we'd be like switch, and like everybody would just switch their stuff real quick. Had our classes lined up in specific ways, so we could always be like one slot away of where we needed to switch from, and kind of like coordinated that throughout all of us. And it was really just really tight strategy and kind of edging out every advantage you can get. And that's why like me and Krim this year were so good together, because we did that same type of thing. I mean, we were tuning Astro command center frequencies to hear footsteps louder. Like, we were doing everything you could possibly do to get a legal advantage in the game. And, we would like go to ref, be like, hey, is this allowed? Or go to the CDL. Hey, is this allowed? Yeah, it's allowed. All right, cool. We're going to use it. Like, there's no reason not to. And in a situation where you're playing for this much money, and you're playing for your careers, you're playing for the notoriety, you're playing to be the best in the world
Yeah.
at a game tens of millions of people play. Like, you got to take everything you get.
No, I fully agree. Like I said, I feel like it's taken like, I don't know how many years, like 6 years for that to become more common now. Like I feel like
Yeah.
there's a big gap of people just not doing it like en
Yeah.
masse for a long time. And obviously, back then the money wasn't anything like now. Even with all those firsts, I think it's less than 100K you guys earned as a team. And
Yeah.
that's still that back then, a lot of money. But now, that's considered a minor, essentially, in most events.
I wish I could like win all those Black Ops 2 tournaments now, or like back in AW. Dude, that would have been nice, because we did not make very much money winning those tournaments, and we won like all of them and made like 25K after taxes, 20K.
Yeah.
Like,
Which is insane, right? It's insane.
with no salary. So that was like all the money we made. That's
Yeah.
it.
Well, you ended off Black Ops 2 with a bang, and we kind of move forward now into Ghosts, and we have to talk about this because it is one of the big stories of obviously your career and complexity and everything that's going on in history. You had a really good start into Ghosts, and then there was a team change, an infamous team change, if anything. What happened from your point of view?
Oh, man. I've now been dropped off 3 teams after winning an event. Like, that's got to be the most lucky thing I've ever heard. Like, it's lucky to win the tournaments, but 3 times, and 2 of them being champs, which is pretty crazy. We'll get to that, I'm sure. But this one, oh man, I used to say it was all them, but now I've grown up to the point where I can kind of look back. Like, it was definitely a bit of everything. It was one part me being pretty egotistical and kind of an asshole and like, winning. That was our fourth straight, 7 out of 8, first event of the year. I dropped like second best KD. I think that's right when I started dating Luna for the first time. So I thought I was super hot shit, like was just like huge head, huge, gigantic, massive head. And so I was a bit of an asshole and, a bit standoffish. But that's not to say that the team environment that I was in, we were super toxic to each other. Like me, Krim, Aches, and X. Like Teep was always real nice, but the other us four,
No, I can see that.
were were very toxic to each other back then. And I at the start I would take it and I would like just be like, okay, whatever. It's Krim being Krim, it's Aches being Aches, whatever. But after this, like when we had won this much and they still weren't giving me that respect and that, what I felt I deserved from them, I started being like an ass. Like Krim would tell me to do something, and at the time he was playing Battlefield a lot, and I'd be like, "Go fucking fly your jet in Battlefield, man!" get the fuck like I would be like standoffish towards them, kind of because like I eventually was fed up with it, and I wouldn't put up with it anymore, so I was just like pushing back, and so it was one part that, another part, us being toxic to each other, and then the third part being they thought like Damon was better than me, and like X really loved him, Aches really loved him, Krim really loved him, and so it was just like Damon was nasty at the time. Like Damon was really, really, really good at the time. Like a lot of people see Karma now and like he's retired and stuff, and they see that Karma, but like that's not who Damon was. Like Damon when he played on Young Guns back in BO1 was like prime Karma. Like he was disgusting, and then into BO like he was really, really, really good. And so it was all those things combined together, and it was still one of the toughest droppings I've ever had to deal with. I mean, like I didn't get to play the BO2 champs with them, got picked up the event right after, played all the way with them, and then got dropped one event before champs in Ghost. And it's like, dude, if I had just got one champs with them, we would have won. And that's why like this year with Krim, it's like, dude, I finally get a chance with you. And of course we fucking win. And so it's like, dude, if I could have just had one more, I would have taken the Ghost one or the BO2 with you too. Like, I don't understand it.
Well, I mean, yeah, because it was it got even more controversial because obviously you joined TK, and then there was like an event UMG Philadelphia right afterwards. Obviously, there was some banter bit. If I remember correctly, that was the event where there was some interesting trash talk thrown across the stage, mostly from Aches, and then Mr. X just parroting it. Which is still right. I feel like people don't realize like how long ago that was because that still comes up on my timeline occasionally. For no reason, even though it was 7 years ago.
Yeah, it was literally almost 7 years ago. Wow, that's insane. Dang, you just
I
made
bet you
me
still
feel
get
super old, bro.
I bet you still get that clip sent to you, don't you? I bet
all
like,
the time.
Yeah.
That's why you can't snipe. All the time, dude. That event was actually a wild event. It was a blizzard in Philly. Fire alarm got pulled, or a bomb threat got called, and like I remember I joined TK and I told them, I thought I was gonna get an Optic offer, but I didn't get the Optic offer, and I was like, huh, interesting. Like, I guess I gotta find another team. So I told TK from the start, like, they don't need to expect to sign me to a salary or anything. I'll play this event with them. If I get the Optic offer, I'm gonna go. If not, I'm gonna stay on TK. So that was all clear and open to begin with. They knew this was kind of like a 1, maybe 2 event thing. And so we actually lost first round of winners bracket against E-Girl Slayers, which is Revan next. I don't even remember who else is on the team, but who is now my coach now, which is funny on the subliners. And I ended up almost losing down 1-2, tied a Sovereign Dom map 4 against Fuse, which was like Wheats and Pac-Man, I think was on that team, maybe. And we end up coming back, run all the way through the losers bracket, all the way to the finals against Complexity, win the first map, and then just get absolutely smoked the next 3. And it was tough because I'm like, dude, that's my team. Like I brought like, no offense, because Sharp, Neslo, and Theory were very good at this time in Ghost. I mean, they ended up playing us in the X Games finals. They were solid players then, but I just felt like the whole time, like, there's the infamous clip of me not shaking Porter's hand. Like, I got that linked to me all the time this year because like me and Porter are now friends, and me and Krim are good together, and like people were always like linking that clip and me like shaking my head, not shaking his hand. It was like I was pissed. Like I thought like that was my team. Like I don't know. I was pretty upset about that one. So that video get linked all the time. I think there's still amazing clips from that event. I mean, there's the Neslo freak out
Yeah.
that is notorious. I mean, the trash talk between us and Envy was awesome. There was, Eagle Slayers were talking shit the whole time. So that event was actually a lot of fun. I actually really enjoyed that event.
Yeah, it certainly was like the wild, wild west back then.
Yeah.
Like it was the stuff you could get away with, and you no problem would even dream of doing like half of that stuff nowadays. Like they just go into the game, get ready on stage, and that's it. There's no trend like going berserk.
One of my we played Envy on Sunday morning for top 6 at 8 o'clock, 7:30 in the morning, and we played at this one station where they didn't have an Ethernet cord long enough to get to that station to stream it. So we played it off stream, and it was one of the craziest series. It's the Neslo pop off that series. It was game 5, round 11. Like every map was super crazy. We had a crazy comeback on Octane Dom, and none of it got streamed. And like that's one of the series that just got lost to the nothingness that I still to this day wish I had.
Well, like, fortunately, there are many games like that for you that have that have gone through your career. Let's jump forward. Let's talk about the World Championship 2014. Third, you end up coming in with Optic Gaming in that one. Obviously, going to be disappointing probably to see your ex-teammates walk away with the W.
Yeah, especially when we had them. We had them in the winners finals. We were up 2-1, up 22 points going into the half at Sovereign Dom, and Nade shot and Bose blew it. And it was a tough one. And then the composure was just gone. I mean, got smoked by Envy. That tournament was pretty crazy for us. Cinderella story out of us. I mean, we had some crazy moments. I mean, the round 11 Red Alley push was sick on Freight S&D. Our blitz was way better than theirs. We just like figured that game mode out with like the goalie and the sneaking and all that stuff.
I hate that game mode. Hate it.
That's worse than Dom. And there's like Dom is like down there, and blitz is somehow below that, and it's like okay, that one stung a lot too. After. So it was 6 at COD XP for me, made like 12,500.
Yeah.
Top 24 Black Ops 2 champs. That one is still my biggest regret in all of Call of Duty was that champs. And then to get third when we had them on the ropes to get a grand final spot, and they probably would have beat us in grand finals if they made the run through losers. But we had a chance, and that's all we were looking for was a chance. That's what our team was built on, was like give ourselves a chance. We're good players. We're hungry to win this. Yeah, it sucked to see him win. Damon went back to back. Those 2 years contributed to his 3 rings. So if that, if I just take one of those, which I very well think I could have, I mean,
it'd be the 4th time right now.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, that would have been insane. I mean, the Optic time was pretty good for you, I think, in terms of like your career projection, because not only is Optic a lot of eyeballs, and that makes you a fan favorite a lot of the time. But also, that gold medal. Like, you got a gold medal. That's something that obviously no longer exists in Call of Duty. It's a very unique winning point.
Yeah, I think me joining Optic was a huge part of my career leading up to where it's at now. I mean, I had kind of stoked the fire and started getting, we'd done well on Complexity, and I'd done well with TK and Unite, and it was like this body of work. And then I got the spot onto Optic when Optic was kind of in a very bad place. Like Optic was kind of like a joke to a lot of people at this point. And it was more of a meme, like, they got it all the time in BO2, like go play Minecraft, because that's what they were doing was their content stuff. And that's why, Optic or Nade, Scump, Hex are as huge as they are today. It's because they were doing this stuff back then, and they saw the vision, and that was something that inspired me a lot and helped me understand and learn how to do content. And it's not like they taught me, but just watching Nate do vlogs and him forcing me to be on camera and do vlogs with him, and Hex forcing us to do these streams, and not pay a salary and be like, your money comes from your stream income and stuff, like, and so it made us more motivated to do that. And really, it was just they taught me how to do content, and they allowed me a good spot to use my talent in Call of Duty to help them win a tournament and kind of like put them back on an upward trajectory competitive wise. And that was something special to me. I mean, we did something special with Bose getting third. I mean, even the qualification for champs, and then leading on to X Games, we did the impossible and beat EG and beat Cole, which really hadn't been done in quite a long time, and did it with style, and then beat TK in a game 5, and like that gold medal. I just now got it framed. I just took it into a framing place to get it framed. I've had it like just draped on a nail, and finally it's like, all right, I'm gonna put it in a frame, put a little plaque on it, whatever. Yeah, it's still in my room. Like, I love that. Me and Matt, Nade Shot still bond over the fact that we won that. I think last time we were at the Hilton Anaheim, we were at the bar, and he was like, "We won gold medals together." And this is now 7 years later. So it's that one still holds a special spot. And then the whole body of work of Optic, like, yeah, we didn't do as good as we wanted the Anaheim choke, the next event, and then kind of like throughout the rest of the year, we didn't have great placings, and it was partly because it went to the vector meta, and I just really I'm not a sub player, and it really hurt us a lot. So it really sucked. But I think I also got kind of screwed at the end of the Optic team as well. I remember Nade, and so it was me, Nade, Scump, Proof, and Nade and Scump came to me and were like, "Hey, we don't want a team with Proofy anymore." And I was like, "All right, cool." And they're like, "We want Crim on the team. Do you think you can get Crim?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think me and Crim are still good enough friends. I think I could convince him to come to Optic." And I remember it was after season 3 playoffs or something in Ghost, and last event in Ghost, and I was out back of the Columbus Arena talking to Crim6 for like 3.5 hours, like convincing him to join Optic, like to do all these, like, this is all the things that could benefit you. This is all the stuff that could help you. This is how Optic can help your brand, and just explaining everything. And he's like, "All right, I'm going to do it." And I'm like, "All right, cool. We're good." And then like a week later, Nate hits me up and is like, "Hey, we're dropping you in Proof for Crim and Formal." And I'd like recruited Crim to the team just for him to be like, "Nah, I want Formal, not Clay." And then Formal goes to that team, and then they start their next dynasty. It's like, I pretty much built that team for them. Like, what it was.
This is exactly, by the way, this is exactly what I meant when I said your career is insane. Like, going back, like, so I go through it. Unfortunately for me, that I've been there for a lot of it. Like, I'm always, I've been in Call of Duty for a long time, and I remember it, like, seeing the envious side of it, because I was picking a Stro at the time, and like seeing all that stuff go down with JCap and Nameless having a bit of a tantrum. I'll say is probably the easiest way to put it, and it all going berserk. But yeah, that's the second dynasty kicked off. But you ended up joining Envy, right? Another very prestigious org in Call of Duty. It probably gives you the history to when you went back to them with the Empire. But yeah, that's that turning point there is something that people don't really think about. What would have happened if it had gone the other way? Because like Crim could have gone to Optic. They also wanted, like, part of the Optic members could have gone, like, they wanted Scump or they wanted Karma to go over to that team, and like it was insane what could have happened with Envious and all the different ways it could have played out. But you went over to Team Envious, and it was, I mean, the team did okay, and setting the world alight was not really the biggest thing I could say about this Envious team. Like, it was a middle of the pack team, unfortunately, Clay. I have to put it like that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, so like, to on what you said, so it was like the Envy team of Merc, Cap, Nameless, and Formal, and they were really good at the end of Ghost. They won the last, like, 3 of the last 4, really good at the end of Ghost. And so then when Optic kind of dropped me, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the next best team, which is Envy, and right now. But obviously, there was a huge jump in mechanical movement from Ghost to Advanced Warfare, and Nameless had me running a sub the 2 events I played with that Envy team. And I remember, like, the first event we went to was actually pretty hype, but we weren't very good. Like, I mean, our strat literally was flood the hill with, and I had a sub like all the time. And like the first event was like Columbus Open, we did all right. I think this was the first time I'd really started getting salary from a team, and I think at the time, so this was early 2015, late 2014 when the game drops. Stro gave me $1,000 a month salary, and I was like, "Fuck yeah! Like hell yeah, dude! Like this is awesome." And we got like top six at the Columbus Open. I think we ended up losing to like Optic and TK. I think we lost to, and then went to the Orlando event, and Cap had something going on sick wise, and he played like shit. I played like shit. We all played like shit. And so then that was when the trade to Denial happened, where Denial traded Saints and Zuma for me and Cap. And that whole period was a shit show. And that's something that like I've across the years kept like loose notes of stuff that's happened, and I'm gonna try eventually to put it all into a coherent like book someday. And they're not like fully fleshed out or anything, but that period there's so much stuff I wrote about from that transitional period, because I remember it was so much BS. Like one day, 1 hour I was on the team, the next hour I was on the bench, the next hour I was on this team on Justice, and then on this next hour I'm on this team, and the next hour I'm on Prof, and then the next hour I'm on. It's like there was for 2 weeks straight just pure chaos with who was on to be on our team. And eventually I just like got fed up, and I was like, just trade me. I don't want to team with this team anymore. I don't care. Like I've been trying to figure out a solution this whole time, and everybody just keeps trying to like get a better one, and then that falls through and they come back to me. So it's like, I'm tired of being the plan B. Fucking trade me. I don't care where you trade me. Just don't trade me to Justice.
Fair enough. I think that's fair enough. Dutch. So like we're going to the Denial team, because obviously that Denial team back then, people weren't sure what to make of it in terms of like how well you were going to do. I remember that being the things like, is this team going to be any good? Obviously, we'll slightly skip over what Denial ended up becoming in terms of a shady as shit org, and kind of talk about what you did with them, because this is obviously a highlight of your career here, and I think the first inklings that this team could be something better was ESWC 2015.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
Well,
no,
No,
the championship, before that. Sorry.
regionals.
Yeah, so
there was like season 1 playoffs.
yeah,
the
season
event.
1 playoffs, right? Like you guys come in like a very good team, and people are like, oh wow, holy crap, this team works. Like this team is doing very, very well. Why did this team work? Is it just like a better mixing mechanics? Did you get, obviously you probably got along better, I'm guessing.
Yeah. So I mean, I still have the check is right here, and I'm sure you can read out like the Denial above me. And
Yeah.
I kind of hate that it's advertising every time my camera's on me that like Denial Esports is in my background, but it is part of my history. They weren't who they were at the time. And I think it's like, yeah, shit now, but back then we were kind of making that like they were on the up and up. They weren't paying us any money, so they couldn't have been late on any payments. So it's like, they didn't screw us over. And actually, Robbie Rignalda, the original Denial CEO, I've all the stuff that came out after the fact proved he's kind of like a scummy person, but to me, he was really nice, and he was a really good guy to me. And like, I met his grandparents and stuff, and like, maybe that was because I was a star player or something and I was treated differently, but like genuinely, he was always really nice to me. And, I will say that. So, I have seen that players have been missing money and all that stuff, but we won't talk about that. So yeah, I mean, the Denial team was interesting because I wasn't even going to team with those guys. They traded me, and I was like, I don't want to fuck a team with you guys. I mean, it was like, I didn't want to team with Cap because he had just gotten smoked at Orlando. I did not want to team with Replays because I didn't think he's any good. And Attach was like the only, he was like a 17, 18 years old at the time. Like he was not like, and Dylan's still annoying now, like 5 years later. So like back then he was a child. And I actually joined the team and I was like, okay, I'll play this 2K with you guys this weekend because you need a fourth. I'm still figuring out my team. It's whatever. And we played the 2K and actually did really well together. And I ended up beating Optic in a comeback uplink, which was like they never lost that fucking map. And I was like, oh shit, like, yo, like we ended up losing to Optic, I think, in the series. But the fact that we won that comeback uplink, I was like, maybe this team's kind of good. Maybe we got something here. And so I was like, all right, let's give it a week. Let's practice a little bit. Let's see how we play together. And we practiced next week. It felt like the vibes were great. The strats were great. We were playing really well. I was like, fuck it, let's do it. Let's do it. So literally that comeback uplink won us champs in essence. And then I remember season 1 we did okay. Playoffs we went to, actually got second in that event. There was one of my favorite 1v3s I've ever had was in the finals of that event versus Optic, on Riot S&D, and it was just we played well together, lost to them, and it was like, all right, whatever. And then we went to regionals. Um, got made a crazy losers run. Actually, I think we like lost to TR early on or something, but then made a crazy run all the way back, beat them through losers, and then lost Optic in the finals again. But it was just regionals, so it's like whatever. And then the month between regionals and champs, there was like 4 2Ks or 3 2Ks, and we lost to E6 in the second round every 2K because like how the seeding worked, we just played them second round every time, and it was a best of 3, and they would just beat us every time. And so we literally got second rounded in the 3 2Ks leading up to champs, and we're like, oh, we're gonna get fucking shit on. Like we thought it was chalk. And then I think we end up dropping we were up 2-0 and we were talking shit in pool play against Prof, which was like Classic and a couple others at the time. And they end up coming back and reverse sweeping us. And so we end up getting second seed in our pool, which played first seed in the other pool, which was Optic. So first round matchup chance, us versus Optic. And I remember a specific moment when there was like a potential we didn't play them. It was like a 50-50 chance. And I remember we were all in the lobby when they dropped the brackets, and I remember like Nade pulling up the bracket and being like, "Oh fuck," and like getting super pissed. And I'm like standing there with Attach and Cap, and I'm like, "Hell yeah!" like they're pissed that they play us, and so it's like, "Oh well, this is our opportunity to beat them," because they're like scared of us, And went to the event like or the next day and beat them, and then kind of used that momentum throughout the entire tournament, and had some crazy matches versus TR, like which was Facento, Nagafin, Remy, those guys. So Aqua,
Oh, those are
those
great
guys.
games. I remember that. Those were really good games.
Yeah, they had some crazy uplinks against us, and it's crazy how much I remember of like I remember like all the maps and stuff and exactly like how much we lost by and like pivotal moments because it was a big moment in my life. Winning champs was the only thing I didn't have at the time. I didn't have a ring, but I had like everything else: UMG,
Yeah.
MLG, Gfinity, X Games, yada yada. But I didn't have a ring, and so this was like my team of scraps to throw me to the wolves. I'll come back leading the pack. Like
Infamous
everything
line.
worked.
Infamous
Okay,
line.
perfect. It's one of my best tweets of all time. Still, I'm pretty proud of that one. And everything that followed. I mean, it was fun winning champs. It was fun winning it with those guys.
It was, if you don't mind me just quickly saying, because
Yeah,
obviously I was there and I saw that champs get won. If I remember correctly, a lot of emotion from you coming off of that stage, like a lot of emotion. If I remember correctly, I was only about 2 meters to your left when I saw just how much it meant to you
yeah.
after you did all the confetti and the ring stuff and like and kind of going through that, you could kind of tell like just how much obviously like either stress or tension was built up behind actually winning that world champ. I mean, you've won 3 of them now. It's old hat, but still, that first one definitely meant a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like there's still if you go back and watch some of the VODs, like I was genuinely crying at some point, and like that champs was such a release and such a like weight off my shoulders pretty much because I'd been hunting it. This is the fourth $1 million tournament I played at, and I was constantly feel like I was battling against the forces that be and like couldn't get a good team or couldn't do this or couldn't do that, and then to have the performance that I had and like to drop a 1.3 2 or whatever it was at champs, and just like I think in the grand finals I went on like a 14 or 12 streak or something, and like that streak and like that me playing the way I did and it succeeding was like so cathartic for me. Like I was just so happy to like perform that way and win the big one. And it just, there was so much pent up behind that, years and years and years and years and years of me just wanting to be the best in the world. And I feel like for at least a moment, I was the best in the world. And, our team was the best in the world, and I was the best player on that team. And it's a super special feeling and something that was like a childhood dream for me. And that's why it meant so much, is because like I'd always wanted to be the best video game player at something. Like at some video game, I've always wanted to like be number one. And I feel like that was me being number one, for a brief moment in time.
Yeah.
I was the best player on the best team, and it just felt so good.
No, I obviously I can't imagine it. I've done it myself, but yeah, like incredible achievement. I have just noticed, and I promise you, I have not done this on purpose. I'm actually wearing the championship hoodie from that event. Genuinely, this is the 2015
awesome.
World Championship hoodie. Didn't even realize. I threw on a hoodie quickly to do this. But yeah, I mean, like you said, obviously one of the crowning achievements of your career. Who knew back then you would do it 2 more times? And we got to move forward a little bit now because, like I said, I don't want to spend 5 hours with you going over bits. And it wasn't a terrible rest of AEW for you. You ended up going on to Faze. Was that just more that Faze is? It's Faze, right? It's a huge brand. No, while they were good at the time, going to Faze, you've basically played for every major organization that's ever been in Call of Duty at this point. But going to Faze, how did that come about?
Yeah, so basically after X Games performed poorly on Denial, me and Tats were like, hey, cap and replays, it's becoming a Slayer's game. This team isn't going to really work out. They were cool with it. We were cool with it. We were trying to get Zuma and Enable. They're like, nah, we want to stay with Hook and Slasher. So I went and hit up Hook and Slasher. I was like, yo, you guys trying to team? And they're like, maybe. And then Zuma and Enable heard about it, and they're like, well, fuck you guys. Like, we're going to team with them if you don't believe in us. And then Slasher and Hook were like, no, we were just considering it. We weren't going to do it. And Zuma and Enable were like, nah, screw you. Like, we're teaming with them. They're like, you guys just come to Faze. And I was like, all right, that's kind of a no-brainer, Denial Faze at the time, especially even now. Like, I mean, like,
Even
Faze,
more now, yeah.
Yeah, Faze is Faze. And no-brainer, went over there, immediately had a godlike tournament, UMG Dallas, 24-2 map count or something like that. One of the craziest tournament runs we've had, 3-0 in the finals, easy peasy. And we go to Gfinity, crazy 1-3 comeback in a best 7 in the finals. Kind of falter off a little bit at UMG DC the next event, and then came back super strong for the season playoffs in Columbus and won those 2 best of 7s. Reverse swept the best of 7 versus Epsilon. I mean, that Faze team was something special. That's why I'm so happy to be team with Zuma right now, because I love Zuma. Tommy is one of my favorite friends, favorite people in all of Call of Duty. I love the way he plays, love the way he is as a human, and really excited to team with him on the subliners this year, because I think we're going to capture some of that Faze magic, some of that like tenacity and resiliency that we had on Faze, because those 3 tournaments that we won were still 3 of the craziest tournaments I've won. It was like 1 we dominated, 2 of them we like had to make crazy comeback wins. And this is at the time of Optic's fucking dynasty, just like super strong, and we're just
you guys put a little bit of a discredit on their dynasty by kept beating them in AEW towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, like we made it a conversation between Complexity and Optic because of us beating them. So I'm glad for that. I'm glad that I was able to at least, and that's something that I feel like been able to do, is like no matter what team I'm on, the best team in the game, I'm always able to play close. Like I'm always able to like give them a battle, like give them a run for their money. We're going to prepare for you. We're going to try to beat you. And like, we're not just going to roll over and die. So that's something I feel like every team I've been on ever has been good at. It's just like putting it like, going toe to toe with the best in the world.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. And obviously this kind of brings us on to Black Ops 3. Right, we go through Black Ops 3 because you were with Faze for a long time, right? With them all through, you were with them in AW all through Black Ops 3, going into Infinite Warfare. Looking at Black Ops 3, like you guys were definitely a top contendering team, but you never really seemed to get in that position where you're like, oh yeah, we're the best in the game, or we're gonna really lock it down. You were always just like on that bubble. Why do you think that was in that game?
I think there's a couple reasons. I think personally, we all kind of were like a little pissed at the AW season, and we're hoping Black Ops 3 would be like our comeback, and then had a couple like that was the thing about the Faze team is like the performances were good enough to keep us together, but they like weren't good enough to satisfy us. And so it was like we were trending downwards morale wise, but we were still sticking together. And so that was mainly what it was, is like we just weren't good enough at the game. Like none of us four individually were really good at Black Ops 3. And like, we all had our moments, and yeah, it was here, there, we'd show flashes, and we would always contend because we were good enough Call of Duty
Yeah.
players, and we cared enough that we would watch VODs and stuff. But like, we just weren't good enough like at the game, and that's simply what it was. And that happens in Call of Duty. Like, there's iterations that come out where certain players just aren't good at the game. Like, they just and it sucks because sometimes it determines and defines your career. Like,
Yeah.
for example, Slack was been one of the most consistent players of all time. Had a very poor MW because the game just didn't suit him or his team, and now he doesn't have a pro team next year. And he's probably going to play in challengers, and like that's ridiculous. Like, that sucks, and it sucks, but that's the nature of Call of Duty. Like, who can adapt the best? And I'm sure if we had in Black Ops 3 gotten top 16 every event, I would be on a amateur team too, but like at least we were performing well and like
Yeah.
getting close, breaking top 3, top 4s, top 5s. So, it's just we weren't good, and that's kind of, we all had a little bit different priorities. We were all kind of relishing being in Faze and having that fame and notoriety of being in Faze, and enjoying all the stuff that comes with that. And we just weren't focused and weren't good enough. And I honestly think we were really good at Infinite Warfare, though. I think we actually had many opportunities to win events in that game and just blew them all. So that one I actually think we were really good at. But
Well, let's get there then, because we've got to talk. Obviously, there's a world championship in the way.
Oh yeah.
And one of the things, like, normally, if a team like yours, hasn't had that many wins in Black Ops 3 and is struggling like that, I'm surprised after a top 8 finish, the team didn't change going into the next season.
Well, I think our whole mentality was we were really good at AW together. We were still good together in Black Ops 3, but we just weren't good at the game. And so a new game switch was what we needed to get back to AW. So I think that's where our mind was like, we lost to the top 2 teams at the champs. I mean, got really unlucky with the bracket. I think we had to play Envy's second round, who won the tournament, and then after we won like 1 match or 2 matches in losers, we had to play Splice, who ended up getting second in the tournament. And it was like, that's where we were all year. We couldn't beat 1-2, but we could get 3, 4, 5. And even though we got top 8, it's like we very well could have gotten the Rise bracket where they got a free 3rd place.
Yeah.
And that we played them in pools where I still to this day insist they threw that match. And Fellow and Brice have, like, I'm really good friends with both of them. They both have told me and sworn to me they did not throw that match. They were just getting smoked. But I think they did for the better bracket. But
we'll never know.
Really, it was just the switch of the game, and we thought we would do better, and then we actually saw some success. We well, that's very bright back there. We got first at PSX, which I think 2 of the top teams weren't there, and then we went to Vegas, and I think it was like a top 6 or something.
Vegas was top 3. Like I said, it was a good
Yeah.
run. You had a really good run, actually. Top 3 Vegas, Atlanta Open was top 6, so that's probably what we're thinking of. Then you went to Paris, the Paris Open. I'm trying to remember which Paris that was because it wasn't good. None of them were in terms of just how they played out.
Oh, that's the second place. That's the second.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
The Just Dance one where I threw my medal across the stage because they restarted it. Yeah, and somebody said I threw it in the crowd and hit somebody in the head.
That rumor went around. I remember that for a long time, saying that you'd basically assaulted a member of the fans.
Yeah. And the worst part was that there was a camera on us, and you could see it on the big screen behind us. And so when I was walking off stage, I looked at the camera and saw that if I get to this point, I'm out of frame, so the stream won't see it, and I'm gonna take it off and I'll throw it in my chair, like, fuck this medal. And some kid was recording me right here. Like, from the stage, so I didn't see that kid, and then that video got posted, and then it was a whole big deal, and all this stuff. And, oh man, I was so mad. Honestly, Brice Facento saved my career potentially. In the interview afterwards, you know how they did those fucking losers interviews,
Yeah.
which are the stupidest thing in existence of sports ever, and especially esports. And I was about to blow a lid. I remember at one point I was like, "Yep," I said a bunch of bullshit. It was like, "Yeah, it kind of fucking sucks, but whatever. They played better than us." And then like everyone in the crowd is like looking around, and like it was super awkward. And I remember I was about to say some really terrible shit, and Brice walked over to me and like put his arm around me and was like, "Yo, just chill out, man. Like, calm down." And I remember he like made me take a couple deep breaths and stuff. So Brice really helped me out there, even though he wasn't even on my team. He was on Rise, who got third, and he like walked over to me and like, friendly, just, "Hey, chill out, man." And it sucked, but dude, I honestly think we were really good in Infinite Warfare. It's super unfortunate the way that the Faze to EUnited trade happened.
Yeah.
Because
What happened then? Like,
that was
take us
very
through
soon
it?
after, right? Like, how many
Yeah.
more?
So it happened pretty quickly after that. There was Paris, then there was Dallas, who you came third at. And like I said, these aren't bad results, but I'm guessing with pro players, like, if it's not a win, it becomes one more reason for the team not to stay together. Because everybody always pushes for that number one spot. Doesn't matter how good you think a team's done. Oh, we came second. Pros don't ever care about that. And that's something I have to always explain to people. It's like, I can say it's a good result if they come second. A pro will never accept that unless they've had like the worst year of all time.
Yeah.
So that was it was after that you played a couple of like online tournaments, and then there was stage 1 playoffs, and then the EUnited trade happened.
Yeah. So after stage 1
Anaheim
playoff.
top 16, sorry, the last one. Anaheim top 16.
That was okay. So stage 1 playoffs. After stage 1 playoffs, we had to talk for like 5 hours together, and we all decided, hey, we're going to be adults about the situation. One of us, we need to change. So let's figure it out as a team what we want to do. And I was the one who brought this up, and I was the one who's talking to everybody and figuring it all out, and making sure everyone's comfortable, while they were all scheming selfishly, trying to buddy up with somebody to get them off the team. If we stick together, then neither one of us can get dropped, and one of them two is going to get dropped. Such BS. And eventually, I played a 2K with EUnited. We did the trade, and like I was told I was being traded to EUnited after stage 1 playoffs, and then we played a 2K together, and I think we won it. I think we won the 2K together. I was on like, that's where the mopey tugboat thing comes from. And then Faze was like, "No, we can't figure out a deal, so you're playing Anaheim with us." And I'm like, "Okay, like whatever." And then so I start teaming with them again, and obviously it's like how EUnited was in BO4 when they tried to drop me, and then we played Fort Worth together and got last place, because you can't mend that. Like, for me personally, I'll give it my all, and I'm able to look past things and be like, hey, like, even though you guys try to drop me or wanted me gone, I don't care. I want to win more than I care about like my personal hurt. Like I would rather be a good competitor than I don't know. You know what I mean.
No, I get you. I get you.
And so then I got a root canal done the day I flew out to Anaheim, Wednesday. I got a root canal done, and it was super painful, super abscessed. It was like swollen as hell. I was on a bunch of codeine afterwards. I was prescribed it. It hurt super bad. So then Tommy Zuma had a ganglion cyst on his wrist, like right here. And so it like affected his thumb movement, and he just got surgery on that. And so we go to Anaheim, and he's all fucked up. I'm all fucked up. We're like on painkillers trying to play in a team that's already broken, and it's just like a recipe for disaster. And we got 12th or something, and it was like, okay, it's done. Then I just remember it was a huge clusterfuck about who's getting traded. I remember one point it was Attached for gunless, and Attached calls Temper, and I heard Attached be like, "There's no way you're trading me, Tommy!" Like freaking out to Temper on the phone, and it was just like every man for himself. And I was like, whatever. Like at the time we had this, there's this investor in Faze, and he was handling all of this like stuff, and he was kind of a fucking dickhead. And
Fair enough.
I was the captain of the team, so we would lose within 30 seconds of us losing. I'd get a phone call from him, and if I didn't pick up, I'd get fined. And I'd pick up, and he'd be like, "What the fuck did you do? Like, how did you let this happen?" Like screaming at me, like, and so like I didn't like him very much, and I became very standoffish with him as well because I don't care who you are. You treat other people with respect when you talk to them, and that's all I ask. Just treat me like a human being. Treat me with respect when you talk to me. That's all I ask. Like, we can have a civil conversation about us not doing well, but I don't
Yeah.
want you coming and yelling at me and being like that. Like that'll set me off. So, um, he never respected that, and I was constantly at ends with him. And so I remember, like at one point, it was like 2 weeks after all this hubbub, and they're like, "All right, we've made the deal. We're trading attach for gunless to EUnited, and that's what we're doing." And I'm like, "All right, cool, bet." Called Gunless on the phone, talked to him for like an hour, went to a concert that night. And this was right at the time all the stuff with my ex-girlfriend happened, where there was all that stuff happening. And so I was in like a very unstable mindset. So I'm like out drinking at a concert, texting Gunless, being like, "Hell yeah, I can't wait to team together, yada, yada, yada." Um, he was like, "Yeah, man, it's done deal." And then I go to sleep and I wake up to my phone being spammed at like 9 in the morning, just like constantly ringing it. I like lean over and I see it's the investor dude, and I pick it up and I'm like, "What's up, man?" And he's like, "Hey, Clayster, just want to let you know that we just transferred you to United for gunless." And I was like, "Oh, what the fuck ever, dude." And I'm like hungover, like hungover as hell. Like it was like, well, like I'm so over this. Like I don't care right now. I was like, whatever, just trade me, dude. I don't give a fuck, and hung up the phone. And it was just like, all right, it's done deal, whatever.
Wow.
And was still living in the house with them, with Zuma and Abel, my ex-girlfriend, and attached. And it's just like
Jesus.
it was a pretty shit situation. I believe I made most of it. I mean, we went to United. I think we got third at the next event we played at, and then top 6 at champs, where there's the infamous choke
Yeah.
against Envy, and then got smoked versus LG, who we beat at the beginning of the tournament. Um, that one was rough. That champs is still, that one hurts a lot too. That uplink really sucks, and
I
I don't
suppose,
know.
like I said this before to you, like your career is a roller coaster, and I think I've tweeted about it as well. Like when you go back and see what's happened to you during your career, right? We haven't even got into modern times, and the amount of drama and just the highs and lows that have happened to you across this. I look forward to that book. You
Dude,
write that book. That's gonna be great. But yeah, like it's insane because obviously we go into World War II now. Um, and looking at some of these results, like the first one is Dallas top 6, which is admittedly, like I
we're the
said,
king of top 6 on a United, dude. We are the kings of it.
yeah, New Orleans top 6, Atlanta top 6. You are wrong here. Stage 1 top 8, admittedly. Birmingham top 16, but that was I'm wasn't that
Yama
the
event.
IAMA event that everybody talks about. Pro League top 6, you are right, and then Seattle top 3. So that's like you managed to beat it there and kind of get above it, but it was a little bit rough sailing for that team. And obviously, you had I believe after the Pro League stage 1, you had your first change. Arcities left, and you got Fellow in.
No, silly left, not our cities. Come on,
Oh,
man.
sorry, wrong order on my screen. Yeah, sorry. We got Silly who left, and Fellow came in, right?
Yeah. So when I joined United, I was, like I said, not in the. Let me move this thing in the back. It is shining, very bright. I don't know what it is. My dog's like play bin or something. So basically, I joined United and I was not in the best headspace. Alec and Preston were not the players or the people they are today. I remember after IW champs, they thought I was gonna leave, and I remember Preston came up and was like, "It's an honor to play with you." Like he saw me as like an idol, not like his peer. And this is so that was the whole thing with the United was Justin Silly. I had teamed with back in 2009, 2010 on a team called TVA, Team Violent Apprehension. So I've known Silly for a long, long time. There's actually a video on YouTube of me and Justin with the TVA guys back in like 2009 playing like video games with them and stuff. It's actually pretty neat. So me and Justin kind of known each other for a long time. Was a big part of me coming to that team. We get along very well. And we're good friends. And Alec and Preston were still just super young and green, but I saw the talent and potential they had in Infinite Warfare. I mean, they were a good team. They won an event that year. You know, they always I always judge people how they play against me, and I just knew Alec and Preston were something special, and so I wanted to see that come to fruition. I saw something in them that I thought, you know, could win world championship, and so World War II was a weird time because I really wasn't being a leader. At the end of IW, beginning of World War II, I was just kind of like still kind of full of myself. Kind of like seeing like going on a bunch of different dates and you know just enjoying life and placing well and playing COD and just enjoying like the single life and stuff. And then you know, after a couple months, I was like, all right, you know, back to the normal, like back to normalcy a little bit, kind of get back, bring it back in, reprioritize my life, figure out what I want. Like, do I want to keep playing? Do I want to keep, you know, doing this? What do I want in life? You know,
Yeah.
and I really decided like I want to win a world championship on EUnited. Like that's what I want to do. I want to take this team with Burns and Clerky and Shipley and Brute and all the social guys and Adam and Jamie, the owners. Like I want to win a world championship on EUnited. And like that's what like I'm gonna set my mind to this. This is what I'm gonna do. And so, you know, we had all of World War II, decent enough, see it like then we eventually were like, all right, we need to make a change. Somebody's not cutting it. And I wanted to keep the twins together and the twins wanted to stay together and EUnited wanted to keep me. So the only other option was Silly. And that's just how that works sometimes. And you know, I decided to pick up Fellow. I thought Fellow had a lot to offer our team, and he did bring in what we wanted him to, which was vibes and communication and really just strategy thinking at a high level. And you know, we placed pretty well with Fellow. I mean, the third at Seattle, where we kind of actually blew a bit of that. I think we could have made that grand finals. Um,
Anaheim
and then
not
went
so
to
good next.
yeah,
Anaheim
yeah,
not so good.
yeah. Anaheim was a rough one. I actually have blocked that. I think that one is where, oh man, I think we lost to Optic super early in the morning, or maybe that was Black Ops 4 Anaheim. I'm thinking of. But anyways, not so good. But then we went to Champs,
Yeah.
and we did some special stuff at Champs, and that Champs is actually still out of all the Champs, that Champs is still my favorite Champs. That where we got fourth in World War II. And that's something that is a lot of people are like, what? Like you've won 3 of the other ones. And it's like, yeah, but that Champs was something special. Like Optic got knocked out. For some reason, every Optic fan thought of us as like the underdogs and wanted to cheer for us because we had a great story and, you know, we're sticking it out and me and the twins and Fellow's a good kid and, you know, United's a good org. So the whole crowd was for us. The EUnited chants were crazy. Some of them 3-0s we had, some of the play calls we had, just plays in the game. I remember there was against Red Reserve, there was a CTF on Flak Tower
Yeah.
where they scored in overtime in like 40 seconds. And then I made a play
Oh,
call and then the play call worked perfectly and we scored and 3-0'd them. And like, dude, there was a bunch of moments throughout that event that were really special and really fun. I mean, even against LG, they were up 1-0 against us in losers and up 5-1 in the search. And we come back and Alec 1v3s and we come back and win it with a 1v1, me and Cap round 11, which is still one of my favorite 1v1s of all time. I love that 1v1 so much. And, you know, we ended up petering out, couldn't close it out. It was pretty tough. Envy choked versus Faze. Dude, Envy got 5-0, came back on last map versus Faze. I talk to Kyler about this all the time this year, Hook, because I know my United team could have beat the Envy team, but we could not beat that Faze team for some reason. And if Envy just wins that search and plays us, we beat them, and then we're top 3 and we have a chance to go to grand finals. Like, honestly, I was so mad about that. But you know, we got fourth. There's still that iconic ascent that they created for that event. For United did. It's still, I've gone back and watched that a bunch. Us hugging afterwards, me crying afterwards. That one meant a lot. But we got close. We gotten closer. We had some crazy moments. It was an emotional event for me, but it helped us going into the next year.
yeah. Just before we
So
move on from World War
yeah, go
Two,
ahead. Go ahead.
I know this isn't maybe relevant to your placements and the vibes within the team, but there was a very memeable moment in World War Two in regards to your in-team comms and I'm guessing the vibes about your, what was it, 9-foot cannon or something along those lines?
15-footer.
15-foot cannon.
Yeah.
Is that just like typical of you having fun while playing and something? There's probably been more of those, right? That people have never heard.
Oh yeah, there's been plenty of those. There was a moment we were 1-5 in the league, and we had one match left or two matches left, and we'd been so serious about it, and just like getting so mad and so much anger and aggression and frustration, and just like we were getting smoked in the league. And the crazy thing is I've qualified for every playoffs ever except for like one way back in Ghost when it was like 6 matches, didn't matter. Made more money commentating that event than I did qualify. I would if I won it, if I qualified. So, but we've done some crazy comebacks in the league, like 1-7s, 2-10s, like where we've come back and qualified in the league and placed respectably. And a lot of people can't say that because qualifying for playoffs is actually pretty hard in those Columbus leagues. And I realized we needed to beat Epsilon, and Epsilon was the worst team in the league, and we were at the second worst team in the league. And so I was like, we have to beat them, but we cannot play how we've been playing the past 6 matches. So, guys, we need to just let's have fun. We'll go hard the first map. If we win this first map, let's have some fun in the search and in the CTF because I think we're better than them. I think we know we're better than them. And so we went hard the first map, beat them. Next 2 map, we're just completely like that, just trolling the entire time. And you need series like that. You need moments like that to like lighten up and to relax everybody and give a little bit of release to everybody. And I honestly think those leagues in World War II is the growth period for Prestini. I think he really grew a lot in those league periods in World War II, and that helped a lot going into the Black Ops 4 league periods because that was the main thing with the United guys, with the twins. Alec less so than Preston, but there was a lot of teaching them, not teaching them, but a lot of me helping them grow up or like watching them grow up or them growing up in a way that was counterintuitive to the way I thought they should go about it. So it was just like a lot of growing pains and learning experiences with that team. And it's cool to see where they're at as players and as people now because they they didn't really have the confidence back then. They didn't really have the swagger or they didn't really have that, I'm a fucking pro player that you need to win. And
Yeah.
really that's where that growth period happened was in World War II.
That's awesome. I mean, that's awesome. Like I said, it was interesting to me because you only ever get to see snapshots of pro players at events. You never get to see like who they are unless you get onto stream and you can get a little bit more. But obviously, we go into probably a really good time for you, right? Black Ops 4. This is obviously a very infamous year for you because you guys start doing great. You get Beezy on the team. It's gone to 5v5. But also the 1400 days thing, the 1300 days thing that starts becoming a thing. Did you know, like, was it conscious in your mind, or was it the first time that meme sort of popped up? You're like, oh crap, it has been a long time.
Oh, I knew. I was well aware of how long it had been. It after IW champs, I almost quit. Like I was pretty close, and it'd been a couple events in AW, all of Black Ops 3, all of IW, so about 2.25 years, and I was like, oh man, like this isn't I'm not having fun anymore. Like I'm struggling to find the motivation to get on and every day and put my effort into this, and I'm struggling to find meaning in it and all that stuff. So going into then World War II, where like I still say is one of my favorite chances, even though we got 4th, that reinvigorated the passion in me. And that reinvigorated like I want to fucking win again. Like I'm gonna like tired of screwing around. Like I'm gonna give this my all. And you can ask Luna, my girl, like I barely cared about it. I barely talked about it. And then going into Black Ops 4, I like I watched every tournament match from every tournament and every team in that game. So every tournament, I watched every match, not include like, every other team, every single round, every single pool play match, watched everything. Like I was playing a lot. Like all I wanted to do was win. And we in World War II ranked play, I saw a BZ have like 4 accounts all in the top 5 of ELO. And I played against him a bunch. I was like, this kid's nasty. So I want a BZ. He's super cheap from U6. Let's get a BZ. So found him, got him on the team. Ended up putting JCap because it was going 5v5. We didn't really know how that was going to work out. Got second at the first event where I still think we could have won that event. There's a couple chokes from us on Seaside. and failed comeback on Seaside in the winners finals. A lot of crazy moments in that Vegas. I think that Vegas was a lot of fun. That event, or the venue, was really sick at Vegas, and the crowd was electric, and we had a lot of fun up on that stage, and we were having a good time. And then we went to the league. We were 2-0, lost to Envy in the league, and I got schemed on by a bunch of people. That whole thing, it's been well documented, and it's funny. Me and Cap are friends again. We've been playing Rocket League and
Yeah.
stuff the past couple of weeks together, so that's good. Won a world champ with him. So all this stuff is kind of irrelevant. But one thing I will say about this whole time period was I had realized I kept getting dropped because I wasn't close to the org. And it didn't matter how close I was to the players, but I wasn't like attached to the org and the face of the org. And that's really what I did on EUnited. And one of the main reasons why I stayed on EUnited was I was their face. Although the Twins are there longer, they paid me a lot of money to do a lot of content and to be, EUnited sold the most jerseys at that champs in World War II than anybody else. And that's a big deal. Like we cornered, like there was those pie graphs. It'd be like Optic has 78%, and then it's like EUnited has like 12%, and then everybody else splits the remainder, and it's like we would always had a decent market share, a decent corner of the market, because we were a likable team. We had a lot of energy. We had good content, good branding. Well, okay branding, and they were. It was made of good people, and that's really what made EUnited so special. Was it was just made of good people, and they respected me and trusted me with the team, and like all the decisions that were made, from dropping Silly for Fellow, for dropping Fellow for Cap and Abizi, for putting Simp, Celium, Illy, and Turnup on our academy team, to dropping Brian St. Viceno, was all me and Burns. Me and Burns decided all of that together. And none of that was just like, he took a lot of the blame because, Fellow was, Silly was pretty upset and I was really good friends with him. Fellow was pretty upset. I was pretty good friends with him. Brian's pretty upset. I was good friends with him.
Yeah.
So EUnited took a lot of the blame, but me and Burns figured all that out together. And I built the team. I built every facet of the team. Me and Burns put the team together ourselves, like everything other than me and the Twins, which we had been together the whole time. They didn't really care about what, like, the team. They're like, we trust you, you do it. And really that whole thing with them trying to kick me off the team, and then, us going to play our fourth league match together after they all decided to drop me. And I'm like, yo, why is everybody acting fucking so weird? Like, just let's go hard. Like, let's give some passion. We need this win for first seed. Let's go. And like, I'm the one inspiring and motivating the team while they're all like, just got done dropping me the night before. And we end up winning the match. And then, all this stuff happens. United wants us to try to stick it out. Go to Fort Worth, get smoked, top 16. We beat Rec, who actually got third that event, or fourth that event or something, where they're the only team we beat, and then went 1-3, smoked out of the tournament. We're like, all right, we need to change. And me and Burns were like, I was like, Burns, put Simp in for Cap. Trust me. Just put Simp in. Just put him in. Trust me, dude. I've known Simp since early Black Ops 3. Put Simp in, dude. Like, just put him in. He's 18. Put him in. And RC's and Preston were like, nah, dude, Simp's too emotional. He's a head case. We don't want him. Abizi was like, no, dude, like, we don't want Simp. We don't think he's going to perform well on the main stage. We just think he's an onliner. Like, he gets nervous on land. And I was like, Burns, I don't give a fuck what they say. Like, you're putting him on the team for at least one event. Like, you're putting him on our team for one event. And Burns is like, all right, I trust you. And he kept me around, dropped Cap. He's like, they were all in on the trust on me. And that's something that I love EUnited to this day for. I still talk to all those guys because I trusted them. They trusted me. I respected them. They respected me. And we had a vision. We had a plan. Like, this kid has been on our cadet team for a year and a half. Like, he's been on our academy team for a year and a half before academy teams were a thing in COD. And we were paying him $500 a month for a year and a half, like 18 months. And I'm like, dude, we did all this to have him when he turned 18. So use him when he turned 18. And he turned 18, threw him on the team. Went to the league, went 3-1 or 4-0 in the league, and then went to London, and everyone's like, "Oh shit, like, oh shit, he's fucking good." And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I've been saying." Like, I'm glad they listened. I'm glad it worked out because now he's in the conversation for one of the best players of all time the past 2 years. Not all time, but of the past 2 years, and maybe down the road he will be considered the best player or one of the best players of all time. I still love Chris to death. I love Abizi, love the Twins. Those guys, the whole EUnited story arc with the twins, with Burns, the United guys, and then with Simp and Abizi
Yeah.
was so special, man. I mean, really like second place in London. Then we go and get sixth at Anaheim, and it was a grueler where we did not have like it. We were pissed, and I think that fire really just fueled us into the first seed in the league, and then into playoffs where we just dominated. Obviously Gen G fought back a little bit, but in the end we took it from them, and then went to champs and won, and such a defining moment for
Yeah.
me and the 1400 days with the playoffs win and then the champs win back to back right after, with the team that I genuinely feel like I helped build from the
Yeah.
start, with Burns, and really helped just put this whole thing together. And it was a fruition of something that like my vision and my leadership style and what I see in players and in talent and everyone listening and trusting each other and the conversation and the way I give criticism, like all this stuff is now validated and shown that it works. And that was such a big thing for me. Like it helped me grow. That those wins helped me grow as a person so much and just be like confident in my abilities again. And really that's why I think you saw the success of this year, is because I was so confident and comfortable in my abilities after Black Ops 4 that I just feel unstoppable now.
Oh, well, fair play to you, I think, for a lot of this, and we've got to maybe speed up this next bit because I don't want to keep you too long. Even though we've got so much good things to talk about here. The sim thing for a start, like I think people almost forget about the open bracket, by the way, because I remember watching Simp in the open bracket just absolutely grind through teams, and you're sitting there going like. There's always the questions of how they're going to do against pro players. Like, it doesn't matter. When you dominate an open bracket, like the lower bracket like that, you're going to be good in the league regardless. Like, it's going to be more difficult, sure, but he obviously came in like an absolute phenom that year. And he probably should have won Console Player of the Year that year. Something you're actually nominated for. We will get to that in a minute. But that World Championship and that playoffs, emotional for you, emotional for the rest of the team. I remember being backstage, and you guys like needed a minute or five to kind of almost like regain. Like you could tell, like the entire team. It honestly, right, and this is how I saw it. It almost looked like you guys had lost. Like the amount of emotional outpouring and how devastated the team was after that win. If you've got oh they lost, you'd be like, yeah, that makes sense. But you guys were, I don't know whether it was just like there was a combination between the whole lot of you, just like, holy crap, we've just done this, and even to the point where like the World Championship again, another huge one. Just so much raw emotion in that team to get those wins. Almost like I've never really seen that from teams. Very, very rare.
Yeah, I think it really was a passion project for all of us. I think we all cared a lot. I think everybody on the team really, 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 really wanted to win. And both, like, we had talked about it all year. Like, I had done the math. There's the tweets where I did the math. I'm like, if you win every league match and win playoffs and win champs, you'll make 273,000. So I did the math. And then, like, after we won everything. And I think we only lost like 2 league matches. And I was like, damn, I was off by 2 grand, like, and that's just like, we were so focused on those 2 goals. Like the rest of the year didn't like mattered, but like our goal was the league, playoffs, and champs, and that was it. And so for us to accomplish those goals in that order and to, you know, get all 4 of them their first rings, I love that, dude. I love getting people their first rings. Like it's like my favorite thing in the world now. Like I got all 4 of them, and then I just got 3 more people. Like it's so special to me to win a world championship with people who haven't done it before, and then even with Porter, who has done it before and a couple times. And um, I just we tried really hard, man. And I think it showed, and I think that's what that emotional outpouring you saw was just like we tried so hard and we accomplished it, and like holy crap, we did it. So
I mean, obviously, congratulations, year later, but big wins, obviously, for you and your career. From what you said, you went from 1,400 days to winning playoffs, winning the world championships, and we go into franchising, and everything hits the fan again because. If I remember correctly, and you can correct me for any part of this that's wrong, EUnited were anticipating a spot in the franchises, and your contracts were all held up a little bit because of that, till the point you eventually went to Dallas.
yeah, United was stringing us along for months, saying they were, if the deal is a football field, we're on the 10-yard line. All right, we're on the 5, we're on the 1, we're on the inches, we're on centimeters, and then we didn't get a spot over the course of many months. So Our team would have stuck together after champs. And if you look at how MW went, I mean, the 3 top teams had us 5 scattered throughout them.
Yeah.
And if we would have stuck together, that means all those teams are a lot worse, and we would have probably dominated last year with how good we all played. So, uh, it sucked, but I'm thankful I landed on my feet in Dallas with a good team and a team that I was really excited to play for. I took a pay cut to play here, and I moved my whole life here. Not on the team anymore,
We'll
but
get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to
yeah,
that.
but it was a tumultuous time. Kyler and Shotzi and Ender hit me up, and they're like, "Hey, we want a team with you. You're our 4th." A couple days later, Krim became a free agent. Here's our 5th. And then, like you said, 1,400 days to playoffs and champs. Won 3 events this year. Poorly at Minnesota launch weekend. Got 2nd in London. That London event this year really helped us figure a lot of things out. Went to LA, won that one. Kind of faltered a little bit. Won 2 of the online ones, which is, whatever. But then really buckled down and showed our mettle at champs, where in that grand finals, we looked unstoppable, and
You did.
we felt unstoppable, honestly.
You certainly did. Before we cover that World Championship in a bit more detail, I have to ask you this, because at the start of the year, I remember a lot of people were, to put it politely, slating you, saying you aren't really anything without the phenoms you unleash on the league. You aren't without Beezy, without Simp, right? Or with the Twins. People were saying that you were not the biggest factor in that equation. Did that ever kind of get into your head, or like that ever kind of thought pop up during the year, going, I have just, admittedly, especially with Simp, right? You've basically unleashed this monster onto the Call of Duty world, and you're like, oh crap, I can't team with him anymore.
Yeah, I would love to take all the credit in the world for all these players that I've
Yeah.
played with that have seen success. But it's not all me. It's they're talented players. Like Shotzi is a phenom. Simp is a phenom. Like Abizi, even Attach back in the days. Spacely held on Slack back in the day. Like all these players I've teamed with that have been younger have been very talented players. And I help guide the way. And I've over the years learned how to do it in an efficient way. And so I know now, and you asked, like, Simp did a Players Tribune thing where he kind of like wrote a big thing about his story, and he gave a little paragraph to me saying, like, and he's one of the only ones that's actually given me some solid credit for helping develop him. And then my teammates this year especially did it as well, being like, hey, Clay and Krim played a huge part in our development, and they helped us, become successful winners. And that's really where I come in. I teach you how to win. I teach you how to be a winner. I teach you how to, like, all the little things that add up. And I know all these players we're playing against, so I can help counter strat, and I can help you get into their heads and think how they think. So you can, I've been around so long. I know I can add all this value. And when people say, like, oh, you got carried, or, you weren't a factor point, like I dropped a 0.98 and people are acting like I dropped a 0.5 or something, or
Yeah.
0.7. Like, for me and the role that I play now, if I wanted to be the main slayer on a team, I genuinely feel like I could do it. I mean, if you look at the champs this year, when I was trying to slay hard, I slayed hard. Like, but there's a thing with KD, and I think this is something that we were tweeting about to each other the other day. Let me give an example. There's, I'm main AR. I'm holding a lane that's pushing to a hard point. The other team's set up in the hard point. My teammate runs in ahead of me, dies. Now, I kill that guy that killed him. So my KD is now, infinite, or whatever the fuck it is, because I'm 1-0. So I can then choose to stay in my exact position and just pre-aim, even though it doesn't help the team at all. I'm not applying pressure. I'm not going for hill time. I'm just pre-aiming till my second teammate runs by. He dies by a guy. I kill that guy. Now I have a 2.0. Okay, great. I have a 2.0 KD. But that's not how you should play as a main AR. When my teammate's in front of me, I'm following him. He dies. I get to trade. I jump into the hill and try and get a Kai weak for my third teammate behind me to then trade out. So now I'm 1-1. And so my KD is a 1, but I've made a play for the team. So now my third teammate gets a kill, then gets a 2-piece. Then we get the hill control. So now the difference between a 2.0 and a 1.0 KD, oh, he's got a 2.0. He's doing better. No, the 1.0 KD is what just helped his team win the game, and is what it's helped his team succeed and is getting points.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that. And a lot of people think, like, oh, main AR, you should have crazy stats. Yeah, the main ARs had crazy stats this year, like Skies, Wuskin, Octane, because they all sat in a window and didn't do shit to help their team win. and that's no offense to those players. That strategy does work in 5v5, especially. Kill whoring does work in some moments. But I've never been that type of player. I will never go for stats like that. I will never do something that never helps my team win. I'll never sit in an irrelevant location just to get kills. And that's why my KD looks the way it does. If I want to stat, I can stat. I can stat with the best of them. Trust me. But I'm all about winning now, and I'm all about winning. And people are like, Clayster wasn't even a top 5 MWAR. It's like, what game were you watching? Like, yeah, I didn't have crazy numbers because I was trying to win the game every time. Like, and we had 3 tournament wins and a chance to win. We won 4 tournaments out of 9 this year. I think that's pretty good. Like, I don't think you could be below a top 5 AR. It's like, yeah, Shotzi,
Yeah.
amazing. Hook, amazing. Simpabizi, amazing. All these players, they're so good. But I play my part in my team how I should do it, and the teams that I build and the teams that I go into are built in a certain way of understanding that I am the glue that holds it all together. I'm not the star that shines. I'm not the ceiling of this team. I will put you in positions to be that player. I will put you in position to be a star, and I will give you the leash to not like call you back and be like, no, don't push that out, Shotzi. It's like, no, dude, if you're confident to go get a 2-piece, you slide in that fucking door and go get a 2-piece. Like, I'm that type of leader. Like, I push you to be the star of our team, and that's not on the stat sheet. It's an intangible. It's something that I think a lot of people don't give me enough credit for. Go listen to the comms from the
Yeah.
champs finals.
Yeah,
Go listen to the comms.
I will agree with you here, and I think the problem is that KD is such an easy thing to see, and you can't see the intangibles. But that's what coaches are for. That's what analysts are for. That's what you have to explain, because it's very easy to say somebody's frying with a KD without knowing what they've done. So my last bits here from the actual storyline, and I said I want to do this fairly quickly because I said 90 minutes, but I think we've done well to cover a decade.
We've actually done a good job getting to this point, an hour and a half. I'm not going to
lie. The world champ. So we can put this into 24 hours, right? Because you win the world championship, your 3rd ring. We've seen the celebration and how much it meant to you, and then obviously in the next 24 hours, your world got turned upside down. So let's talk about that, from world championship to teamless again.
Yeah. Winning back-to-back champs and getting dropped off the team both times kind of sucks. But I was relatively prepared for it, as much as my Twitter suggests I wasn't. But we found out a month before champs is going 4v4, and I did the math in my head. Astro loves Hook. He's not dropping Hook. Illy and Shotzi and Hook are all attached at the hip. You can't split up Zeo. None of them 3 are going to be gone. They're not going to be okay dropping any of them. Me or Krim. Krim has been trying to get, or Stro has been trying to get Krim on his team since Ghost. Of course, he's going to keep Krim. He's the GOAT. So it's me. I'm the one gone. So I knew for a month I was the one gone. I was talking to my girl, and I was even cracking jokes to the team about it. Like, why even show up on time if I'm just going to get dropped in a couple of weeks anyways? Like, but like I said, I'm a competitor. I'm able to like put that past me. They were all like, we haven't even had the conversation yet. We don't know who it's going to be. Krim was like, let's play for the spotted chance. It's like, no, like you guys might all think that, but I know I'm getting dropped. So like, yeah, you might not have had the conversation. Yeah, you might not have had that. But I knew it was going to be me. So, I told them when we won, we were all together. I was like, hey, just when this decision is made, tell the person immediately so they have time to figure out a team.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people were like, I was even kind of pissed that it was like 24 hours, but I was also I would rather it be 24 hours after than 3 or 4 weeks later, because then the teams are figured out and stuff. So it gave me ample time. So I'd rather it be this way. It just kind of sucked for my emotional well-being. But I still won. Like the check hit, and I'm like, great. So it's like,
that. I saw that.
Yeah. I had to flex that one. I've never gotten a deposit that big, so I was like, holy smokes. But yeah, then the rings are coming in soon with the Jordans and all that, and that'll be really nice to have.
But you haven't got those yet.
No, I have not got them yet. They usually take about 4 or 5 months to get the rings to you. But yeah, so realistically, it sucked, but it was a decision that I genuinely believe all the guys over on Empire, like Rambo, Krim, Ant, Hook, Ender, even Stro, Graham over there, Shay, all the videographers over there, all the social guys. I think everybody over there genuinely feels bad. It's a shitty situation,
Yeah.
and it's not a decision that like normally I'd like to hate somebody for it. Be like fuck you for doing this. Fuck you. Blah, blah. But it's like fuck you, the league, I guess. So that's the only thing I really can say for making this decision 2 years after going 5v5, a year after going franchising. It would have made more sense to start franchising now, going back into 4v4.
It should have never gone
Especially
5v5, let's be clear. If
yeah,
anything,
no,
it should have
I
never
mean,
gone
yeah,
that way.
it was shout out to them trying to merge pubs and competitive, and then just immediately saying screw it. But yeah, I mean, it sucked, but that whole process, this transition went way smoother than the other one. I think my stock is pretty high as a player right now. I think everybody understands I have an eye for developing young talent and for kind of setting up the future of your franchise, as well as being a really consistent and good enough player. And I bring all the intangibles and great content guys. So I was able to find a landing spot pretty easy. The process kind of sucked though, because it's like, obviously Dallas is off the table. Atlanta picked up Arcity, that's off the table. Chicago's picking up Dashy, that's off the table. So it's like, okay, where do I want to go next? I'm still trying to win. I'm trying to three-peat. Like I'm not.
Yeah.
I could have went to Minnesota and gotten paid a lot of money, or went to Seattle and gotten paid a lot of money. But I want the best team possible around me, and that's really how I ranked my teams. And like I'm getting paid less than what I could have got paid on other teams again this year,
Yeah.
even after winning again champs, because I want to be on a good team. And if you really look at the teams that were formed at the time, it was like OGLA with like Austin, Kenny, and TJ was a a really spot that I wanted to go. Me and Austin on the same team, although people might say like, oh, two ARs. I firmly believe Cold War is going to be at least a 2 AR or 1 AR, 1 flex meta. So that team was like one I was looking at. I was really trying to do something with Pharaoh, but I think he Florida really wanted to keep him over there. Was really looking to do stuff with Priesta, but he really wanted to stay with Major Maniac, and Major Maniac being a main AR, that really wasn't going to work out. Really discussed some things with London and with Minnesota as well, trying to figure out some possible options, and then really talked to Zuma about team with him and Mac, and had my interest piqued by that, and decided the organization is an organization I like, and talked to the guys who own the team over there and stuff, and met together on some decent numbers for myself. And I think I ended up working it out and staying joining a pretty awesome organization and with some awesome people, and just got to get that 5th roster spot ironed out.
Honestly, I think first of all, you look great in blue and yellow. When I did the thumbnail for this, obviously I had to fake your hoodie and stuff because I couldn't get hold of an official one, and it looked pretty good. So first of all, I appreciate you coming on and stuff. We're going to do very quick fire rapid questions because I don't really want to take any more of your time up. I know I said we get this in 90 minutes, but I can say that this has been an incredible interview with your insights into this. And first of all, congratulations on your nomination for Console Player of the Year. We mentioned it briefly at the start. I think it's an incredible honor just to be nominated when you think about how many incredible players there are in the league and in other esports. So congratulations on that. And let's do some rapid fire questions. Nothing big, nothing too open, and that'll end the show off. Let's have a look. Would you consider some sort of motivational speaker role after COD? Your comms and story are inspiring as hell.
Maybe. I think that's something that I'm really good at. I think talking and just explaining my point of view or perspectives, or relating to people, or no matter who it is, I can usually find somewhere to relate to someone. So maybe. I don't know what the future holds for me. All I know is competitive Call of Duty. All I know is competing. Like I've been competing full time for 8 years now. Been playing it for 14 or 12 or something. So really I don't know a life outside competing. So when I'm done competing, that's going to be just new territory for me. I don't know how to figure it out.
I'm sure you'll have a lot of offers when you finish competing, from
I hope
talent
so.
to coaching to anything you basically want to do.
I get like, I know it's irrational, but like I get weirdly worried about it, like that I won't have, like I'll just like be done competing and I won't be able to find a job, and I'll just be like, I don't know.
Nah, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
I hope not. But I have it's like one of my biggest fears, dude. like not being successful after
I,
competing. So
I mean, I could be saying this because of the podcast, but I'm genuinely not, Clay. I don't think there'll be any issue with you going into a multitude of roles. I think there are some players that really don't have the skill set necessary to survive life after Call of Duty, and there are some pros playing right now who are going to really struggle as soon as they finish. I don't think you're one of them, and I'm saying this as somebody who's known you for quite a long time, not as somebody who's just going to be nice to you, because otherwise I'll just move on.
well, I appreciate it, man.
No,
Thanks.
dude, like here's the thing. Like I said, I've known you for a long time, and you've never been anything but cordial to me, at the very least. And the way you conduct yourself, while you wear your heart on your sleeve sometimes, the way you think about things, and you can rationalize and be personable. It's actually a really good thing that some pros, if they are listening to this, should probably keep in mind, because Call of Duty is not forever. And while you can make an incredible amount of money, hopefully they'll all live a very long life.
Hopefully.
Yeah. So let's have a look. Lots of people asking you about your team, by the way. Everybody's asking about Hydra. Obviously, I'm guessing you can't say nothing about that because that's a team official announcement. Somebody asking about a career montage. Have you ever considered a big career montage like that?
Well, I've had little bits and pieces. So I did the Chronicle, which led up to the end of Advanced Warfare. So
Yeah,
like Black Ops 2 to Advanced Warfare. And then I did like a 1400 days montage. I had Sem Texable do it for me. And
that was good,
it was a
actually.
really cool montage of just like the last time I won till that win. But it wasn't like it was more so about that story. And I really want to do one of just like cool moments, like a montage-esque thing where it's not that much of a story like that, but just from Black Ops 3 to now end of Black Ops 4. Because I mean, Black Ops 2 to AW is 3 games, and now it's been 5 games. So I think I could create a pretty cool montage. But I don't know if I'll ever do a huge expansive one. I think I'll chunk it up into those little pieces like that, and then maybe do something when I'm done competing as like a whole big hour-long thing or something. Who knows?
Yeah, hopefully. I'm hoping the CDL starts doing those big documentary style ones for what is almost guaranteed a future Hall of Famer, like
Yeah.
100%, right?
I, I
Go
I
on.
think that so it's something that EUnited did so well, dude. Those ascents that they did for us are something that I still watch to this day, and it's something that they actually created like a Blu-ray box set, like DVD set for me. So like
Oh
I'll have
wow.
them forever, and they're like, I don't have it yet. They're still working on it. But Brute over there, the media director at United, is working on it, and it's something super special to me. So those long form documentaries are stuff I'll show my kids, and that's something that Empire didn't do this year, and I was pretty upset with them about it. Is that like when we flew on a private jet to LA, went to LA, won a tournament, flew on a private jet the same night back. Like that's a movie, like that's a good movie, like that's a pretty, like the videographer, like Joe Fries was with us the whole time, filming the whole time. And they are like, oh, we're not doing long form videos like that. We're just doing short bite content. I'm like, that's a mistake. Like that's a huge mistake to not take advantage of of just like, the story. Like that's a crazy story. That's a crazy story. I just wish I'm gonna push it on New York this year, especially. Those long form documentaries, 45 minutes long of an event or something special. And I think all the fans love them. All the players love them. I don't see why you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, hope so as well. Right, I'm gonna end this with one last question. There's a load in the chat, and I'm sorry I can't get to them, but I've had Clay for longer than I should have done. Anyway, your number one teammate of all time.
Oof.
It's a hard one.
That dude, that one is really hard. I gotta say Proofy. Proofy's probably my number one teammate of all time. I love Jordan to death. We haven't, been in touch too much the past couple years. But dude still holds a super special place in my heart. I still love him. And there's a couple up there though. Honestly, uh, with not only him, Clayster, one of my old teammates that not a lot of people know about, was one of my favorite teammates of all time. TP's one of my favorite teammates. Zuma's actually one of my favorite teammates. Simp, Arcides. I've had a lot of really good friends on my teams, so it's really tough for me to say like that. I've been blessed to team with a lot of really cool individuals who are just good, kind-hearted humans, and if you're a good human being, me and you will get along. So just a lot of good people on my teams.
Awesome, good to hear. All right, I suppose any last thing you want to say to anybody watching or listening to this, as kind of as a final thoughts from you or a shout out.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to all the Empire fans who supported this year. Shout out to all the Subliners fans who are still with me, all the Clayster fans. Brice, thanks for having me on, man. And
I loved it.
I don't know, shout out Scuff Gaming or something. We'll give a sponsor shout out in there. And it's been a blast, man. I mean, you're right, man. My career's been crazy, and I'm glad that some people are interested in it, and I'm glad we got to have a little talk.
Awesome. I cannot thank you enough for having you. And I had you a little bit longer than you wanted, but
All
I
good.
appreciate it so much. And that means next time we can have you on, we can get some more hot takes from you and go on a bit of a tangent because I still got a million things to ask you, man. But I think we did a good job with your career, and I really do appreciate you coming on the show. And I wish you all the best of luck in Cold War as well. And to everybody listening, thank you for tuning in and listening on YouTube or Spotify. I do appreciate it. This has been the Bricecast with Clayster. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.